If you've ever struggled with maybe you're too old to start dancing, or perhaps you're a little too shy to get on the dance floor, well, I have two stories from my personal life, which I like to call the two dances that changed my life. Now, one is about salsa when I was just a beginner, and one happened when I was just a little kid. So I don't know how it works in other countries, but in the United States, usually at the end of the school year, they have a little year-end dance. Now, at the time of this story, I'm just in 6th grade, okay? It's the end of the year, and they have a dance. So, of course, dance starts. I show up late, I'm walking in. I don't know what to expect, I'm dressed, like nice for a 6th grader, and I walk in, and the whole scene is brand new to me, There's music playing, there's drinks, well, soda. But anyway, I walk in, and the first thing I notice immediately as soon as I walk in is that in the corner are all the guys huddling against the wall. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then I look on the dance floor and I see there's at least 20 girls. Like basically the whole entire 6th grade class is on the dance floor. And they look like they know what they're doing. And all the guys are like sitting there against the wall like, So I walk over to my friends. And, I've never been to a dance before in my entire life. I don't know how to dance. I walk over to my friends and I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, how you doing? And I look over at the dance floor and I look over at my friends all huddled against the wall. And something happens in my little 6th grade brain. And I'm not exactly sure like why I came to this epiphany, but it just hit me all at once. I look over at the girls dancing. I look at the guys sitting at the wall, back at the girls, back at the guys, back at the girls. And my little kid brain comes up with a thought. It's like, I'm just a 6th grader, right? I'm just a little kid. I don't know nothing about dancing. But let's face it, it's the end of the 6th grade. Next year is going to be junior high. The year after that is going to be, there's going to be high school. There's going to be winter proms, junior proms, senior prom. There's going to be all these occasions where I'm going to need to know how to dance. So what do I do, right? All the guys against the wall, scared, And I look out on the dance floor and it hits me. I was like, you know what? I might as well just learn how to dance now. I might as well just rip it off like a Band-Aid, Now you got to imagine, this is not just like some simple little thought. Like I'm a 6th grader and I'm a dorky 6th grader. Like I'm drawing in comic books, like I'm listening to Metallica. Like I'm not like a cool kid by any stretch of the imagination. And even the cool kids are hiding against the wall. And I'm thinking, I'm going to go out on the dance floor and I'm going to try and learn how to dance. So obviously, I was scared. But I look on the dance floor and these girls, they're grooving. It's like they've been dancing for years already. And I'm just like, how is this possible? Like all these, like, this is the first dance. Like, how are these girls like killing it already? But when I looked on the dance floor, there was just one girl. She stood out above all the rest. I mean, she was miles ahead of the rest of the girls. They were all pretty good, but she was the best. And she fully stood out. She's like, I'm like, what the hell? But something you need to know about this girl, she was like gangsta. She wasn't like just like some regular like 6th grader girl. She was like a thug, like a full-on thug. To give you an example of how thugged out she was, like she used to get dropped off by her brother in a lowrider, like full-on gangsta. So I think to myself, if I got to learn how to dance, I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask the best girl on the dance floor. So I build up my courage and I'm just like, let's just go. So I'm walking over and I'm scared. Obviously, I'm scared because there's just like all these girls. I mean, you got to imagine this scene. There's 20 6th grader girls on the dance floor. All my friends are behind me hiding against the wall. So I'm just like, walk up. And I go up to the girl. I go up to the thugged out girl. And I'm like, hey, oh, can you, like teach me how to dance? And she goes like this. She kind of like turns around like this. And she's like totally silent. And I'm like sitting there. Oh. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe she's gonna try to kick my ass. Like, I have no idea. Like, she's gangster. I've never spoken to her a day in my life, you know? And she's like this, looks over me. She stopped dancing. All the other girls are kind of like stopped too. And I'm just like, this is not a good scene, man. Like, am I gonna have to like fight these chicks? Like, what the, what is gonna happen here? You know, like I knew how to do some karate, so I'm like, what's gonna happen? And she turns around and it's in her brain. I think she realized, like, I was giving her a compliment. Like, out of all of the girls on the dance floor, like, I came up to her specifically to tell her to teach me how to dance. So suddenly, I think she made that realization because she went like this, and then suddenly she just softened up. Like, I'd never seen her before, really calm. And she's like, okay, I'll teach you. And I was like, holy shit. Okay. So next thing you know, I'm in the middle of the dance floor. There's 20 girls around me. They're teaching me how to do two-step. All my friends shocked in the background, sitting, looking in the corner. And I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm learning how to step, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, it's not too hard, whatever. And what ended up happening is I took that two-step that she taught me, and I took that thing into junior high. I took it to my freshman year of high school. I took it all the way to the senior prom. And the crazy thing is, by the time I got to the senior prom, because I had learned that two-step since 6th grade, I was a good dancer. Like, by the time I got to my senior year, like, I was no fear to get on the dance floor. Like, I had taken that two-step and I had like turned it into my own thing by then. And, you know, being able to dance is like a superpower, right? It's like whenever there's music or whenever there's a party, like, you know, like, you just have this thing in your pocket, like, yeah, I know how to dance. What's up? You know what I mean? And especially at that age, like high school age, like, most guys don't know how to dance. And all of my friends who were sitting against the wall, scared to go on the dance floor, they still didn't know how to dance by senior year. I was lucky enough to know when I was a little kid that I may need this skill. And I took the action to go out and get it. The second story is 2 months after I started salsa, there was a festival that came to my city. Now, when I talk about 2 months, I've been dancing salsa for 2 months at the time of this story. I'm not talking like 2 months with classes and classes. I'm talking, I took 3 classes out of a 6-class basic course because I came 3 classes late to that salsa class. And everybody else in the class, they had taken like, you know, each class was about 2 hours long. So they'd all taken like 6 hours of salsa, like on the day I showed up. So by the time this festival came into town, I'm literally, basically, I've been dancing salsa, I've been taught salsa for like 6 hours, 3 classes of a basic course. And I'd gone to a couple socials. So, but I was excited, of course, because it's a salsa festival. Like, I'd never seen anything like that. It was my first one. I had, my teacher was talking about it, and all of the people in the dance community was talking about it. And so I was excited. And not to mention, like, the community I was dancing in at the time was very small. We had like maybe 15 dancers, and the level was not really super high. Like, my teacher was good and the other teacher was good, but everybody else was kind of like new people, beginners. So I had never actually seen like full on hardcore like salsa, right? So this was going to be my first experience. So anyway, the night of the festival, I'm looking nice. I got my button-up shirt, black on black. Like I'm coming in to win. Full of confidence, right? So I walk into the salsa festival, and the first thing I see is just like everywhere you look, there's just like pretty girls. I'm like, I'm getting my neck broken every 5 seconds. I'm like, whoa, whoa, right? And they have two rooms at this salsa festival. They have one room is a kazumba room, and one room is a salsa bachata room, right? So, like I said, I'm brand new to salsa at the time. I just did dancing like 2 months. So I'm like, I'm gonna go check out the kazumba room, right? So like I walk in, go into the kazumba room, and the scene is like nothing I'd ever seen before. It's like and it's like I just see all these like cool people everywhere, like these girls like sitting back like this, guys dancing on the dance floor, doing their thing, and I'm just like, whoa. It kind of looks like a lounge club, that a lounge club that I'm like not cool enough to join, because at that point I knew nothing about kazumba. I didn't know anything. I barely had a basic step, I think, at that point. And I was just like, this is like cool kids room. Like this is probably not for me. Like I just didn't feel like I belonged there, right? And I was just like, okay, well, I'm gonna go check out the salsa room. So I walk out and I'm going back down. And I get into the salsa room. And immediately I feel like it's home. I open up the door, it's like, dun, 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 and all the girls are spinning, guys are turning. And I'm like, whoa. I had never seen dancing like that before, right? That was like my first time. And I was just like, whoa, like, where has this been all my life? I'm like looking around, shocked, totally shocked at what this scene. It's just guys are like killing it out there, and the girls are just like looking good, and everything is like boom, 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 boom. The energy in the room was just like boom. And I was like, this is my people. These are my people. I just feel it in my soul. These are my people, right? So I had just fell in love like that. I was like, this is where I need to be. So I start walking in, and I start noticing something, okay? There is a high amount of followers compared to leaders at this festival. And I had originally thought, like, because obviously I'm brand new, I've just been dancing for like 2 months, I'm just gonna watch a bit, like watch, like get my confidence up, like just see what the hell is going on, because I had never seen dancing like this before. But it occurred to me as soon as I walked into the room that there was just too many girls. There was just so many followers here and not enough leads to go around. So the thought started creeping in my head that I'm probably not going to get to watch. Like someone's going to ask me to dance. And I started getting scared because it's like people are killing it, And I've literally been dancing salsa 2 months. Let me just say it again. 2 months. 2 months in dancing salsa is like nothing. Even with good training, like you can't do much. Like you'd have to have private lessons every day to feel confident in this situation. But the thing is that I looked like a salsa dancer. Like even though I didn't know how to dance necessarily, like if someone were to look at me, they would be like, this guy looks like a salsa dancer. Like he looks like he knows how to dance salsa. So I could see it across the girls' faces, murmuring through. They're like, this guy walked through, he probably knows how to dance. I'm gonna ask him to dance. And I'm like scared, like I'm just like sitting there like, I was gonna watch a little bit, hopefully no one asked me, trying to like fade in. I tried to basically be like those kids, like my friends in 6th grade. Like I was just kind of wallflowering it, and like, and what happens? The worst case scenario in that moment happens. I'm full of fear. I don't want to go on the dance floor. and I feel a tap on my shoulder. And everything was in slow motion. I turn around like this, and it's an absolute nightmare. And I don't mean nightmare as in like bad. I mean this, I get asked by not just a salsa follower. I get asked by the salsa follower. This girl was decked out. I'm talking like frazzly red dress with the things, you know, the shimmering tassels everywhere. I mean, we're talking like if you like went on Google and Googled salsa girl, like this is what would pop up. This girl. And she's like this. Do you want to dance with me? And I'm like, I don't even have time to think. She grabs my hand and she starts pulling me to the dance floor. And I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Like, and I'm thinking, right? I'm brand new, I'm scared. I'm thinking that we're gonna like go to the side and she's gonna like find some empty space and we're gonna dance there. No, 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 no. Okay? Like Mrs. Salsa had asked me to dance and she was taking me to the middle of the dance floor. The absolute middle. Not the side, not this side, middle. And as I'm walking through these people dancing, doing turns everywhere, I'm like, and she's taking me. And we get to the middle of the dance floor. Now you can't even imagine, well, you probably can imagine if you've danced salsa before, but the worry. I mean, this girl was like she was looking me intense, like tense, right in my face, like, let's dance. And I'm like, trying to catch the rhythm. Like I barely had timing at this point. So I'm like, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So I grab her and we start dancing. 1, 2, ba, ba, ba. Remember in the first story, I said that like I had been dancing for a while, but I hadn't been dancing salsa, and I certainly hadn't been dancing like partner work. I'd been dancing like at the club, you know what I mean? And partner dancing was like brand new to me. But I still had, you know, like a little bit of swag from knowing how to like dance. So I grab her and I start doing my basic step, right? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like what am I gonna do? I literally had like 6, maybe 7 moves. Beep. Toolbox, you know what I mean? I'm like, what am I gonna do with this girl? So I'm doing my basic step, right? And I start like thinking, okay, well, you know, I can do my basics, but I'll just put a little style on it, you know, like a little bit of extra. So boom, you know, I'm sliding her across, doing some reverse cross bodies, and I'm just like really keeping it like simple, but with some steez, you know, with some style. I'm like, ah. But let's face it, that's only gonna get you so far. And she's looking at me like this. I mean, she's like this. He's like, because I'm not really doing bad at this point, right? I'm doing pretty good, actually, I think, like, especially considering 2 months. And she's looking at me because I had played it off enough in that, like, first little bit to make her think like I knew what I was doing. So she's, like, looking at me, like, ready to go. I mean, she was like, let's do this. But I'm looking around me, and I'm, like, in total fear. You know, still, like, my nerves are starting to go away, but I'm like not confident yet. And people are destroying it around, they're killing it around me, like, and I'm doing like full on basic step in the middle of the freaking dance floor, right? And so I start throwing some moves in, okay, like, you know, a couple more moves, but basically at this point, there's only like 20 seconds of the song had passed, and there's probably like another, you know, it's a salsa song, so there's like another 17 minutes left. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, and she's like really like, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Like, and I don't even know if I'm on beat at this point, but I'm still like going, right? And I'm thinking like, I'm out of moves, like I'm just flatlined. And I'm like, survive. And in that moment, something happened. in that moment of like stress, something happened. I looked around the room and I noticed that, yes, the guys around me were like good dancers. And yes, they had like 1,000 more moves than I had. But what I noticed when I looked around the room is that the guys, they were very serious. Like their faces were like really serious, like leading the girl. And like a couple of them maybe were even like looking like they were bored dancing with some of the girls. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, well, I certainly can't compete with these guys when it comes to skill, right? Or experience or whatever. But I was like, what I can do, what I can offer this dance is my presence, but not just my presence. I can offer a bit of fun, right? So what I started doing was, I started playing around. Like, for example, I'm going for the turn like this, and she goes to grab my hand, and I'm like this, haha, like this. And she starts laughing, and she starts having a good time. And we're just joking, and I'm like doing all my same like 4 or 5 moves, but I'm doing them with some joke, or I'm like not taking myself seriously. I'm giving her my full attention. I'm smiling, and I'm present in that moment. And what I started seeing from the corner of my eyes is that all of these other followers around me, and even some of the leads, they were watching us dance. They were like dancing, but they were watching us. And the girls were watching us. And in that moment, the girl that I was with, she was, you could just tell she was happy. She was dancing. Like there was total connection in our dancing, and all of that worry about not being good enough of a dancer and being scared to go on the floor just totally left, because I was just there joking around. I didn't take myself serious. And all the people around, some of the followers, I could see that they wanted to dance with me. They wanted to be dancing with me because I was having fun. And I was having the most fun. And what ended up happening is that after that dance, I was just getting asked left and right. Boom, 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 boom. And the crazy part is that at the end of the night, my teacher, he came up to me and he's like, that group of girls like said that you're a really good dancer. And I was like, what? And I was like shocked. I was like, really? That was a good dancer? Like, holy crap. Like, that's cool. And what happened also is that after that festival, I kept that image of that girl that asked me to dance in my head when I was practicing. And I started getting really, really heavy into practicing after that festival because I wanted to be good. I was like, the next time I go back to a festival, like I want to be ready to go. And I kept that image of that girl in my head. And I was like, you know what? If I ever run into her again, like I'm gonna give her a real good dance next time. And I actually ended up running into that girl 2 years later, funny enough. And yeah, at a festival, and we had a really amazing dance and stuff like that. And the funny part is that she had no idea that I literally used her as motivation for the next like practically 2 years of my training. Now, you don't have to be a kid to start dancing. But the main point is you need to start now, not tomorrow, not in a month, now. And it doesn't need to be dancing. Anything in your life that you want to try, just start today. Because you never know what you're going to use in your life tomorrow, in 10 years, in 5 years, whatever. You never know what skill you're going to need. Your level, your experience, when you start, it means nothing. If I leave you with anything today, it's just start now and don't worry. Because the days of you being not that good of a dancer are going to be passing you very quickly. Eventually, you will be a good dancer. So enjoy the moment, enjoy the learning experience. And if you want to learn how to dance or you're still in your development stage, I have plenty of videos on my channel. You can go down, search around, and find something that interests you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was long. And subscribe. See you next time.